The Finding by Helen Kneipp of Eltham 2480. Narrated by Janine Penfold. My scars always went a dark purple as they healed, and those of my friends didn't. The lids of my eyes had a resident brown sort of eyeshadow. My skin was often a tawny brown, even when I lived in the north of England. I had a dark line down my abdomen from my belly button. My friends didn't. My mother was quite dark and exotic looking, and I asked her if she was Spanish. "No, dear, not really," she smiled. I was sure then that I must be adopted and pestered her about it. "No, dear, you are my daughter. You weren't adopted." "But I must be," I insisted. "I look different from the other kids." But nothing. Nad. No wonderful explanation about fabulous romantic origins. I was 12 in 1964 when we emigrated to Australia. We were 10-pound poms coming to a land that had a white Australia policy and took up residence in the northwest of Queensland in a hot, dusty mining town. We landed by boat in Sydney and, of course, made some friends during the 3-week trip from England, and it was time to say goodbye. They put us on the train heading for Brisbane. "See ya!" Being a little English girl and unfamiliar with this particular form of saying goodbye, I replied, "Oh no, we probably won't ever see you again. Bye." They smiled quizzically and said, "Well, see ya anyway." Worry and no small amount of concern crept in. "No, really, we will probably never ever see you again." It took me a little while to understand this, and I just had to let them say goodbye in their own rather odd way as my parents watched on and quietly concurred. The local Queensland kids called me Lubra Lips, meaning I had the lips of a black girl, which I had never particularly remarked on, but was true. Every child wants, in equal amounts, to be both special and to be the same as everyone else and to fit in. By this stage, I just wanted to fit in, and very quickly. My mother insists that in the space of 3 weeks, I began to say, "G'day, mate," and "See ya," with a strong Aussie twang, and quickly ditched my strong Northern England country dialect that no one could understand. So, bit by bit, I became accepted with my new broad Aussie accent and started getting interested in boys, swam like a fish, rode horses, played lots of sport and learned how to swear. All very important rites of passage. Cut to some 30 years later, and I am managing a pottery near the east coast of North Queensland. And I hear from my auntie in England that she has come into possession of the family Bible from her uncle. Bibles, apart from their regular use, were used to record the family tree, and this one was a big surprise. Apparently, my mum's grandfather, completely unbeknown to any of the family, was half African, from Luanda on the west coast of Africa. And there was a photo. I was so excited. Yes, I knew it. There it was. The stuff that I had always known was true. I told everyone who would listen, and even those who didn't. Every friend, my kids, my parents, my mum was delighted, and especially I told my African friend who said, "Aunt, didn't I always know that? I've been calling you sister for years." It explained so much to me. Why my youngest brother has such African features, the reason my mother is so dark and un-English looking and has always loved African music and used to search it out, the reason my youngest son is so particularly dark and could be any nationality and has big lips too, and my own fury from a very early age at any hint of racial prejudice in any way, shape or form. Sometimes you just get lucky and find out stuff that explains other stuff. The end.